Every Mario game has to have a big bad guy that you have to defeat in the end, and it's usually my pal Bowser. But along the way, in those adventures, you often meet some other strong enemies to defeat, bosses. And Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury is no exception to this rule. Today, I will rank out all of the bosses in this game, from the worst to the best. What is actually considered a boss in this game? Well, anything that is bigger and stronger than your typical enemy. But just before we do this, look at this graph. Ugh, only 25% of you people watching me are actually subscribed. Can you hit the subscribe button and the bell, please? Thank you. It means a lot to me. Alright, now let's just jump into it. Super Mario 3D World features many blockade levels along the way. Basically, as the path opens up, it's blocked by an enemy, and most of the time, it's just a random batch of enemies, you know, like charging chucks or magic Koopas. But there's one blockade in 2-A that is way cooler. Well, would you look at that? 3 big Galoombas ready to kick my butt. I told you anything that was thick was considered a boss for this list. Sadly, the Galoombas are not particularly powerful. You can defeat them by jumping on their heads, using a cat claw attack, fireballs, and just kicking them out of here. I guess making them big didn't actually help them become more powerful. Oh well. World 5-Castle is a cool castle level with tons of those square, spiky platforms that you have to go through in order to make it to the end. Once you reach this big platform, you'll realize that the boss of this world is actually just a square block inside of those spiky frames. King Ka-Thunk is up, and I wish I could say good things about this boss. As you can see, it takes a long time for the king to move and attack us, so I really don't feel threatened at all while fighting the dude. Even worse, his attacks are actually super easy to avoid because they show up on the floor. Let me tell you what I mean by that. As he gets ready to crush you, King Ka-Thunk will move around the corners of his frame, so technically you'd have to use your big brain to figure out where he's going to land, but you actually don't, because look at the floor. Yeah, he's gonna land right there. The game tells you how to dodge the boss. What a joke. Defeating a king isn't enough for Mario, which is why Prince Bully is the next entry on this list. I don't usually meme around the looks of a boss, but I just can't help myself. Prince Bully looks like a fool. This dude is like a big furnace on legs with a broom brush attached to the top of its head. Look at this dude! To defeat this bully, you have to jump and push him into one of those clear pipes so that he comes out on the other side all crammed up. Once he's in that pathetic defenseless state, you can simply jump or kick him to inflict damage. He comes back later in the game and spits blue auto-aiming fireballs this time around, which is supposed to make the fight a little bit harder, but I gotta admit, it truly doesn't. And if you thought this dude couldn't look more ridiculous, well, in Bowser's Fury, he's now a cat. Okay, I'm sorry, I just cannot help myself. He looks so dumb! Ah, Prince Bully. Some characters just become famous because of their appearances in a certain game series, and I can't help but feel like Pom Pom is the most famous mad lass because of Super Mario 3D World. In this game, she's here to fight you twice. And how does she do that? Well, by using her epic teleporting skills and deceiving looks to create clones, all attacking you with shurikens. Now this sounds epic and all, but it's kind of easy to tell which Pom Pom is the real one here. Just take a quick look and yep, the real Pom Pom has a pink shuriken. Once you figure out that trick, which takes about 2 seconds to notice, well, she becomes kinda weak. In later fights, she has even more clones all over the place, but it's still pretty easy to quickly spot the real Pom Pom and defeat her. In Bowser's Fury, she has cat ears, which might trick you into believing she learned new skills and became super powerful, but that's not the case. 4-Castle is a world that is full of hot, steaming lava that can burn you at any time, and it's also full of those lava boulder enemies. And they're not that bad, up until you enter this pipe and reach the boss boulder. Now this big boss is a really annoying one. First off, there's no way to actually hurt him with your power-ups. Nah, you actually have to grab the tiny brawler enemies and throw them at him. Those poor brawlers, they're just getting summoned to either get thrown at their master or actually get destroyed by him. Because yes, Bros Boulder doesn't care if he kills Mario or his minions. When he's mad, well, he throws lava boulders and spins all over the place. Nothing matters anymore. That's not really nice. Have I done a top 10 Boom Boom fights yet? I feel like I should, as this mad lad is probably the most recurring boss fight of all time in Mario's history. Well, maybe besides Bowser, I don't know. He's no exception in Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, where he's ready to defeat Mario no matter what. This time, his attacks includes the ability to spin like a Beyblade and bounce all over the place, but he's also able to turn invisible. Well, almost invisible, because we can still see a little bit of where he is if we look closely. Normally, you're meant to wait for him to spin and get dizzy to then attack him, but you can actually just cancel his spinning move if you jump on his head at any time, making the fight quite easy. Just like Pom Pom, the Mad Lad turns into a cat in Bowser's Fury, and yet again, he learns no new attacks and he's still as easy as he was before. Oh well, you're still my favorite Mad Lad. This next boss is such a weird one. When you first look at him, he just looks like a tiny jester, but he soon summons the power of blobs to turn into the giant scary motley buzzblob. Thankfully, as big and giant as he may look, his attack pattern is very easy to predict and dodging him is not really a challenge. Basically, Motley will try to crush you while jumping, and after a couple jumps, well, he'll just explode and will lose all of his blobs. Now you can either jump to destroy as many blobs as you can to make him tinier and laugh at him, which is funny but doesn't really help anyone. But the real way to defeat this guy is actually to ignore the blobs altogether and focus your attention on the jester himself. Motley Buzzblob appears 3 times in this game. The first time, he is silver. That's cool. The second time, he is gold. I like it. But what is actually better than gold for the third and final encounter? Well, pink gold, baby! Yeah! During the boss blitz in the secret worlds in this game, Motley Buzzblob is now wearing his official pink gold peach merch. It is all pink gold. Now this is amazing! It looks fantastic, I love it! You know what? Fighting Bowser is so unoriginal. But fighting Bowser in a car, hey, that's cool. And that's exactly what Super Mario 3D World has in store for you. I still have no clue where Bowser gets all of the money needed to build castles, buy cars and other vehicles, but let me tell you that he has great taste. This car is pristine looking, with the Waluigi purple paint. It features golden bumpers, all shiny, big wheels that will go anywhere, and there's spikes all around the car, making it really threatening. Don't try to catch up to the car though, as it's going way too fast for us. Nah, instead, to defeat this dude, you'll have to wait for him to throw some footballs and smash them right in his face. Sadly, as you do that, you'll start breaking the car, which is kinda sad. I sure hope Bowser didn't forget to buy some great car insurances, especially when you defeat him and the car falls in the lava. Ah, poor dude, that's gonna cost a lot of coins. The next entry on this list is none other than Histocrat, this very cool snake king that summons his minions to help him fight you. Just like Buzzblob, you do fight Histocrat a couple of times in the game, and this is how you learn that there is also a Queen Histocrat. They even fight together at one point. Now that is true love. Normally, you want Histocrat to summon their minions to jump on their faces, to then do a ground pound attack on their heads, but as I learned from my speedrunning practices, you don't actually need to wait for the minions to get enough height to attack. You can simply do a spin jump followed by a dive or a ground pound jump attack, and you'll always reach the well-marked cross on top of Histocrat's head. You look so cool! Your music is so epic! but you're way too easy to defeat, Histocrat. You gotta work on this for the next time you appear. Obviously, we all expected Bowser to be the final boss when we first played Super Mario 3D World. But I have to admit that I wasn't expecting Bowser to actually turn into a cat by using the power of the cat bell. I thought this power-up was only for Mario and his pals. Anyways, introducing Meowser. Probably the least menacing version of Bowser that ever existed. I'm not trying to diss King Bowser here, but seriously, how can I feel threatened by that? Despite not being scary at all, Meowser is super fun to fight, because just like the final boss of Super Mario 3D Land, this one is more of a platforming level rather than an actual fight. You see this big tower? Well, you have to climb it while dodging Meowser's various attacks along the way. After you hit the dude for the first time with a POW block, he'll use some double cherry power-ups to clone himself, meaning you'll now have tons of Meowsers to avoid. While this is pretty cool looking and menacing, you'll soon reach the top of the tower, and once you get to that big POW block, well, victory is yours. I guess Meowser heard me make fun of him, because in Bowser's Fury, the final boss is way scarier. Look at the size of this giant Bowser dude. This one is actually threatening. Sadly, since Bowser took all of the giant cat bells for himself, we cannot turn into a giant, and we are stuck fighting him by hopping on Plessy's back and chasing him around as he spits fireballs, throws flaming spiky pillars, and other hazards at us. This chasing sequence is actually really cool, because it allows you to visit the entire world of Bowser's Fury in a different way. All of those levels you see along the way, these are all of the levels you visited and collected your cat shines in. And now, you just move as fast as you can past them to get all of the cat bells and defeat giant Bowser. That's actually pretty cool, despite being kind of easy. Alright, when Bowser's Fury was first announced, we got a glimpse of Fury Bowser, the scariest, most menacing version of Bowser ever created. I mean, look at this dude! You don't want to mess with him! Well, to defeat Fury Bowser, you actually have to grab those giant cat bells to turn into a giant yourself. The world of Bowser's Fury that looked so big when playing it, now looks so tiny when you're a giant. And that's the coolest part about this fight. You feel like a giant, you move like a giant, you're kinda slower like a giant, but way more powerful. And defeating Fury Bowser will require you to dodge his fireballs, his spiky pillars, will require you to swipe at him, ground pound his belly, throw stuff in his face, and even do some cat dive attacks. You'll fight Fury Bowser multiple times during the game, and every encounter against the dude is a masterpiece. It seriously is the best boss fight in this game. Hey, thanks a lot for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it. So if you did, well, smash like, hit the bell, and subscribe to the channel, will ya? And if you want to see more Bowser Fury videos, well, tap the cards on screen right now. And as for me, well, I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye!